to document things. But this is the ugly side of separation and divorce, when you don't truly understand what is going on, when you are stepping into a new career and the person that is supposed to be your person is not there to tell you how happy they are for you and how proud they are for your first date. When you can't stop crying because you miss their touch, you miss their sarcasm, you miss everything about them. You miss their smell in the mornings. You miss their go grab a Red Bulls. You miss every single ounce of them. And you don't know what to do. But this is day one of my journey of being a 40-year-old, newly licensed registered nurse who worked her butt off to get here, that is also going to go through a divorce from the person that she thought she was going to spend all of eternity with. So please don't judge if you see me out today and I can't stop crying, or if you ask me how I'm doing and I don't have an answer, because I don't know how I am. I know that I feel empty and I feel hollow, and I am trying my best.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
You should have stayed with your husband. I don't understand where this regret comes from over losing something they once had, because if I leave someone, I don't go around crying later over a decision I made myself. But she goes through life not knowing what she wants, files for divorce only to realize later that she already had everything good in her life. Apparently, problem solving isn't something these women are taught. They have to destroy everything first before they even start thinking about how to fix it. You let go of the person who was your support and your foundation. Now, in your best moment, you realize that nothing is worth it without that person. That lack of meaning is proof that responsibility is kryptonite for women.
He's not signing the divorce papers. Why am I not surprised? Why am I a little surprised? I should have seen this coming. He has dragged me for the last 30 days, making me think that he is on board with our uncontested divorce when he had no intention of following this through. Tonight, I got an email saying that he filed something. I don't know what it is, but in it, he's complaining that I put the utilities in my name. I got my own car insurance policy and my own cell phone plan. Those three things, he said, do immediately. He moved out. He said, get those out of my name today. So I did. After I did, he said, look, in these documents, it says you're not allowed to do that. Okay. So also in this thing that he filed, he's complaining about all of these lies. Like he's saying all these lies. Things like, I'm not submitting receipts to him, and I'm not getting him proof of my insurance, and I'm not homeschooling appropriately. I don't know. Groceries. There's something in there about groceries. So I messaged him and I asked him what the heck. And I just kind of told him, like, you know what? This is getting too messy. We need attorneys. I thought we could do this. I was stupid to think that we could. Let's get attorneys. And he was like, no, okay. If I withdraw that thing that I filed, can we just work it out on our own? I was like, no, too little, too late.
To every man going through a divorce, I'll say this: always get a lawyer. A lawyer, for you, is like a rifle for a soldier in war. If you don't have a lawyer, the judges will tear you apart in court. The worst move a man can make right after being served divorce papers is to be without legal representation. The woman you married won't be the same when you're divorcing. That's when you'll see her true face and her real interests. So always make sure you have a lawyer ready.
And I hate to be one of those women that come on TikTok and cry, and people are like, why is she doing that? I'll tell you that almost 2 years ago, my ex and I divorced after 23 years of marriage. and it's been almost 2 years. It has been the hardest, most loneliest time of my life. I mean, if somebody would have said that I would feel and walked through what I have walked through, I would have said, no, I won't, because I will not make it. I will not survive very long. I just pulled in my driveway from work, and I don't want to go inside because my kids aren't home this week. I also, when I look to the left, I see our basketball court and 2 basketballs in the yard. And I'm not going to move those. They're reminders of these precious children that I have and that I can't stop. But man, times like this suck when I don't want to go inside my home because there's no one to go home to. No one is in there waiting for me. I will not be greeted by anybody. And that is a really hard place to be. So, I don't have any like crazy magic words that'll make you feel better if you're experiencing that. Just know that you're not alone, and these feelings, we all know they come and go. Last night I pulled into my driveway just feeling fine. I was actually a little bit excited that I just had the night to myself. But today it just hit me. You just never plan on things like this happening. So again, I don't have anything earth-shattering to tell you except that you are not alone in those feelings, and probably an important thing to do is to reach out to somebody that's healthy, not just anybody. While I think it's important to sit in those feelings and that grief, because there's so much growth happening. Like, I know there is so much growth happening in my heart, and I want that growth because I don't want any of that pain to be in vain. I want to come out of this a better woman, a better mom, a better partner for that person. So I'm going to wrap this up because I'm rambling and I kind of want to delete it. Maybe I should. But just know you're not alone.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
She feels bad for not having her kids for 2 days. What a shame. Imagine a man who saw his children every day, who had a home he worked hard to build, who had his routine, his space, who watched his kids grow up. He probably ate with them at the table, listened to what they had to say, or played video games with them. And suddenly, he gets served divorce papers. They take away his house, half of his money, and impose a monthly payment for his children. He goes from seeing them every day to becoming just a weekend dad. A man who now has to move into a smaller apartment, live less comfortably, return to silence with no one at home. All he is left is seeing his kids on weekends, and even that costs him 4 to 5 hours in travel and preparation. When you go through that, then you'll have the right to complain, because that kind of thing breaks you on the inside. And it's even worse when the person who pushed you out of your own home is the one you once loved.
Women.
I feel like nobody prepares you for the loneliness you feel in your late 20s and just like this shift. So basically, I stay in almost every weekend, and my life is very busy because of my job. I'm traveling a lot, and I'll go out like for events and do things like that. But for the most part, I stay in like every weekend. And it makes me feel like such a loser and so lonely. And most of my friends live with their boyfriends, or other people I see online have these big groups of friends that they do stuff every weekend. And I never really have plans. Like, I've stayed in all day, just watching the challenge, and I've been going on walks with my dog, and it's a beautiful day outside. and I literally have nothing to do. And I feel like in my early 20s, I had a big group and we would all do stuff every single weekend. But I feel like then slowly people started moving on with their lives and moving in with their significant others and having kids and getting married. And I have none of that. So I'm kind of just here feeling lonely, and kind of ashamed of that. And I feel like on the internet, my life looks like so cool. Like, maybe it doesn't, but like that, like you being an influencer, you get to do all this cool stuff and it's so amazing and so cool. But then sometimes I'm like, okay, well, outside of like that world, like I don't really have much to come home to. And that makes me sad, but maybe other people are feeling like this. And yeah.
At 28, what you call loneliness is just a warning of what's coming. The wall is just 2 steps away, and you know it. Fear of not having a partner, of spending weekends alone, of watching your friends build families while you come home by yourself. You can travel, make money, and pretend to have a busy life, but none of that fills the emptiness of not having a home of your own. The solution isn't feminism or social media independence. It's accepting reality. You need a man to build with. Not a Prince Charming, but an average, hardworking man who wants a family. Because if you keep wasting time, all that's waiting for you is to become the single ant. The wall doesn't forgive.
One thing about long-term, like chronic singleness that I have a really hard time explaining to people is this concept of not being anyone's person. And I think often when single people, I've had this conversation with other single people, of course, but like when we try to explain this concept to married people, to our friends who are in long-term relationships, to our families, they seem to think that it's coming from some sort of like self-pitying, woe is me place. And I just want you to hear me saying this for what it is, which is the truth. I am no one's person. I do not have a person. I am no one's first choice. I am no one's first call. I am not the person that someone texts first thing in the morning or last thing before they go to bed. I am no one's, hey, I got home safe. Hey, I'm on my way. There is no one on this planet that exists that is that for me or that I am that for them. I am loved. I am extremely loved. I have friends who love me. I have parents who love me. I have the Lord of this universe that loves me. But I do not have a person or a partner who is my person. And I think people hear this and they think it's coming from some sort of like self-pitying, like, oh, I'm so sad place. But it is objective truth that I am no one's person and I do not have a person. And does that suck sometimes? Absolutely. Like, are there a lot of days that I really wish I had a person where like I go on these really fun solo adventures? I love doing them. They're so fun. Are there days that I like wish I had someone to share it with? Absolutely. I try really hard to romanticize my life and to not let being alone stop me from doing the things I want to do. I travel, I go to restaurants, I go on adventures, I go hiking, I go camping, I go to the beach. I go out in this world because you have to, because otherwise like you're just wasting your life. And I don't know how long I will be single, and I don't want to eventually, if I do get to meet my person, I don't want to meet them and realize that I had all this time that I just wasted and I wasn't really living life and I wasn't growing and becoming the person that I wanted to be before I met them. So I try to wake up every day and I just try to get out there and make the best of this existence that I have. But do I wish a lot of the time that it looked different than it does? Do I wish I had romantic love? Do I wish I had a person? Yeah. Yeah, most of us do. And I don't know how to end this beyond saying that I'm just doing my best. And I love you. And that's it. Okay, bye.
She's right. Being chronically single turns you into nobody's person. She doesn't get a good morning or a phone call from a man who cares. But the real question isn't whether she's single, it's why she's single. Is it because her standards are too high? Or because she won't give a chance to a man with good intentions? I say this because there are plenty of young single men out there. The problem is that if they don't have money or don't meet the apocalyptic 666, 6 feet tall, six-figure salary, and a six-pack, they're practically invisible to women. This leads to only 20% of men dating the majority of women, while the rest don't even register on the radar. So, woman, lower your standards. You're almost 30, and the wall is waiting. The wall doesn't forgive.
I escaped Florida. Sorry, it's dark out here. I'm outside my best friend's house. Let's have another chit chat about dating and moving cities. I think it's okay to normalize accepting the fact that you might love a city that you moved to. So, for example, I moved to Miami a year ago and I love it. I do really like the weather, the location, the easy lifestyle, but it's okay to accept that you moved to a place where you're not going to find your person and that you can move away because you know that. The thing about Miami is, especially if you're in your 30s, you're going to date younger guys or guys that are a lot older, looking for something that's a little bit different than what you want. Like most guys aren't thinking, let me move to Miami and find my wife, right? And I feel like I date a lot of guys that want to do all the dinners and all the this, the that, but they're not quality men that I want to spend the rest of my life with. You end up dating a lot of guys that are traveling in and out. It's very much a vacation hotspot. So I'm on Raya, so I meet guys from, Italy. They fly in, I meet them, we have fun 2-3 nights, and then they're gone. Yeah, we're connected on Instagram. They DM me, flame emojis, but it's not my husband. And I just want to normalize saying, okay, I love this place. I gave it a try, and I don't think it's for me long term. And it's okay to move away from a city because you don't think you're going to find your person there. That doesn't mean my life revolves around finding my person and that I'm every day on the hunt trying to find my husband. That long term, I do want a family. And energetically, I just want to be around the type of guy that I want to end up with long term. So I'm here to normalize being single in your 30s as a woman and trying other cities and saying, you know what? Hey, it's not for me. It's not for me. Like, look how freaking gorgeous this place is.
I have to say, she's taking the initiative in the wrong city. Miami is a city of adventures. Most men and women there are vain, and the majority are just looking for fun, beach, and parties. It's normal. The weather and the vibe of the city push you in that direction. Plus, Miami is one of the cities with the most gold diggers. Women who are only after men with sports cars. Just watch the videos of guys renting fancy cars. They get out, and a woman shows up almost instantly, without them even having to say much. And if you're over 30, your competition in that city is huge. Even more so if you're aiming for a man in the top 20%. You're competing with 23-year-old girls. And let me tell you, it's tough out there because the wall doesn't forgive.
I just want to know what women are these men in their mid to late 20s dating before me that justifies them making me feel crazy in this scenario. This man asked me out tonight and then asked me what we're gonna do. And then I have to explain to a 25-year-old that me watching him play video games in my apartment is not a first date. And then he's like, fine. And his dinner suggestion is noodles and company. And I'm like, whatever. You've already shoved the bar into the ground at this point. Pick me up at 6:30. But then he's like, can we make it 7? And I'm like, that's already really late, but fine. And we establish he's going to pick me up, but 7 o'clock rolls around and I'm like, where is he? And he texts me, I just got home and finished eating. Sorry, I'm really sweaty from work. Can we push it till 8? And I'm like, no, dude, 7 was already you pushing it. We're not pushing it again. I finally just said, I'm not doing this with another man at this age, and he blocks me on everything. Like, dude, you asked me on a date and I had to plan it. How am I still asking too much of you?
I'm so fucking tired of dating, which is fun, and generally I enjoy it. But I am tired of my weeknights being spent getting dressed up. I just want someone to come over and lay on the couch so I can feel someone's body heat. That isn't this guy. He's sick of me too. He's sick of it. They want me home. They want me on the couch. They want a new dad. They want a father. This is a fucking home without a male figure. They're fucking sick of it.
Modern women have really messed up lives. The first woman, to me, is a forever spinster. On top of being a radical feminist, she has no luck with dating. I've seen hundreds of videos of her crying and complaining because the guy who asked her out didn't take the right steps. If I were her, I'd start choosing different men because clearly chasing after Chads isn't working. And this other woman, what can I say? You just have to see that she's out there looking for a dad for her cat. Yeah, for an animal. That alone set off all my alarms. Brothers, once again, the wall keeps collecting.
There is truly nothing worse than dating the elky. And what I mean by that is a guy whose idea of having fun is getting blackout drunk every single weekend. And when he gets blackout drunk, he's insane and rude, and you always have to clean up after his mess. Or you're like the one who winds up having to pick him up and like bring him home. And then the next day you want to do stuff, but he's too hungover to do anything. I almost feel like it's a rite of passage when you're in your 20s to date that guy, but ladies, when I tell you, do not marry him, because that will not change, okay? Bad habits die hard, and these men always say like, oh, like when we get married and when we have kids, like I'll change, like I'll be different. They won't. Most of the time, women believe them when they say that, and then they just wind up doing it, and then you're like basically a married single woman. So take my advice from someone who's been through it and don't date the elky.
Here we have to acknowledge the truth. Alcohol ruins lives. I've seen it firsthand. Friends who started partying and drinking when they were young, and years later they're still stuck in the same cycle. No progress, no growth. I've never seen a successful man be a constant drinker. Not once. An occasional beer won't destroy you, but living from one drunken night to the next will. It kills your discipline, steals your opportunities, and wrecks your relationships. A man who wants to build a future can't be a slave to the bottle. If you value your life, your family, and your purpose, stay away from alcohol. There's no glory at the bottom of the glass, only failure.
This is going to trigger women. Charlie Kirk says that if you're not married by the time you're 30, you only have a 50% chance of getting married. And if you don't have children by the time you're 30, you only have a 50% chance of having children. They love to say that marriage rates are down because women just don't need men. But maybe that's not the whole truth. Maybe that's just the story that the media has fed us. They made independence a threat, like we all just woke up one day and said, we don't need men. No thanks, I don't want love. But maybe we just realized that if we can pay our own bills, you won't cheat on us, you won't manipulate us, you won't lie to us, and you won't abuse us. And still expect us to stay. Now you actually have to be a good person. So let's talk about the real dating crisis, the one where women get blamed for everything. For not settling, for not marrying, and for not having babies. But maybe we're just done settling. Nobody talks about the lack of emotionally safe men for us to settle down with. We get blamed for not having children when most men treat fatherhood like a side hustle, and they treat women like a revolving door. They praise Elon Musk as if he's solving the population crisis, when what he's doing looks more like a breeding project rather than parenting. We're not asking for miracles. We just want someone safe, consistent, and present. And then they say if I won't downgrade my life, that I'm a gold digger. Like, sir, I have a wallet, and mine doesn't come with excuses. Y'all want wifey treatment, but you show up like a roommate with Wi-Fi. No leadership, no emotional safety, and no effort. But yeah, sure, we're the problem. They weaponize our independence when most of us became independent out of survival. We're not rejecting love. We're just done being disappointed and begging for the bare minimum.
Ma'am, you're closer to the grave than to the ring. I don't think it's about settling. What we're seeing here is a bitter woman, too old to keep up that act. What Charlie Kirk, rest in peace, said wasn't a lie. After 30, a woman only has a 50% chance of becoming a mother. Her chances of finding a husband are already low, and if you add her high standards to the mix, she's more likely to end up with a cat than a man. But one thing's for sure, the wall is coming for her, because the wall doesn't forgive.
Women.
A few months ago, I went on a first date with a guy from Hinge, and on his profile, he said he was looking for a long-term relationship. I was like, period, a man who knows what he wants, and he's going to say it loudly and proudly. We love that. We get on the first date, he's telling me about himself. He's like, yeah, I'm looking for a partner, I like to travel, blah, blah, I would love to have kids. Amazing. doesn't ask me a single question about me. The only time he found things out about me is if I asked him first and he was like, well, what about you? So you're telling me a person you've never met before, you have nothing to ask. You don't want to know anything. The art of asking questions might be dead. Curiosity was not in the room with us. It's so difficult for me to understand because I'm literally so curious about everyone ever all the time. I want to know everything. One thing about me is I'm gonna call it out. I literally said, is there anything that you want to know about me? He said, oh, I'm good. You're good? You're all good? You're good on what? You're good on what? And so I'm thinking, okay, I've been on dates before where I'm not really feeling the first date and I'm like mindful of the questions I ask because I don't want to give them the wrong idea. The man asked me on a second date. But it's giving I could be anybody. It's giving it could be a wall and he would be good. And I don't know if this is an epidemic of men who are good looking, who have never had to try a day in their life or like what the tea is. And unfortunately, this isn't the first time this has happened to me. And I know this is happening to some of y'all out there too. Stay safe.
Most men fail at dating because they think it's about talking about themselves. Big mistake. A date is like a sales pitch. The goal isn't to impress her with your resume. It's to get her to talk, to open up, to show who she is. How do you do that? By asking smart questions, listening, and digging deeper into what she says. Women connect emotionally when they feel understood and when someone shares their interests. That's why a man who knows how to ask the right questions has an edge over the quiet, good-looking guy who never had to try. And let me be clear, a man who doesn't know how to sell won't get a job or a girlfriend. Learn to sell, because in life and in dating, you're always selling something. Your discipline, your vision, your value.
A while ago, I did a video, and in that video I said about how lots of men are not in love or haven't been in love and have lied about it. And a bunch of you girls were saying, what do you mean by that? Like, what is this about? And I don't see many videos on this on social media, especially on TikTok. And something I don't think a lot of women realise, which is kind of a harsh truth to accept, and I think if a lot of men were honest with you, they would tell you this, they'd admit this. But lots of men either haven't been in love or are not in love with their partners. And I'm saying this from speaking to lots of men. And the amount of men that have said to me, yeah, actually, I've never really been in love. I've just sort of said it because I thought it was the right thing to say. Or I said it because she told me. Or I said it because I thought that it would come eventually. The amount of men that have openly told me that they're married but they've settled because they couldn't get the woman they wanted. Or they didn't get the woman because they set a standard the guy wasn't trying to reach or work for or work towards, so he'd rather lose her and have somebody easier, confirming the taxi cab theory. I know men that have been in love with women and they've got rid of them because they wasn't ready in time, and then again, taxi cab theory, they've waited for somebody who is wanting the same things around the same time as them, more strategy based rather than love based. Whereas lots of women, they won't be ready for a relationship, but they'll meet a guy, they'll fall in love and they'll make it work. Lots of men, they'll have the girl of their dreams, but they won't be where they want to be in life, so they'll get rid of her, spend the whole life being heartbroken, get with a woman they don't truly love, waste her time and their own, and be kind of like miserable but keep it together for the kids. Another thing a lot of women don't realise, lots of men are in very unhappy relationships and marriages, but only stay for the children, thinking that that's somehow better, even though your kids can pick up on it, but that's a video for a different day, when they're not been in love. And the amount of men that I've dated and they've been like, yeah, I thought I was in love before, but actually I wasn't. Or men will lie and say stuff like, you know how often guys will be like, oh, I don't finish from below, so you try harder. Lots of men will be like, oh, I didn't love anyone till you, because a lot of these men want you to feel special. That one's a lot rarer. Like, most men are not going around being like, oh, I've never been in love until you. That's more like very narcissistic based, but it does happen. But there are lots and lots of men who don't know what love feels like. I know so many men that say, I don't know what it's like to be in love. Or I'll say to them, have you been in love? And they'll be like, I think so. And I'm like, it's a bit like an orgasm. If you don't know, you haven't. And it's really sad. A lot of men are too scared to fall in love because they don't want to have that level of vulnerability, because it means they could be hurt. So instead they choose to be with women that they're either not going to fall in love with because it's safer, or they was in love when they were younger and it ended and they got hurt. So they just decide to emotionally distance themselves as they get older. And out of all the men I've spoke to, I would say 70% of those men have told me they said I love you and they didn't mean it. They said I love you to a woman because she said it first or because they thought it would develop. And unfortunately, as sad as it is, I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly and put a dampener on things, but there are lots of men that don't love their wives. Another reason why I like being single and wouldn't want to be with somebody unless we both equally loved each other. And I am very at peace with that decision, because as a woman, you know the amount of times where you go to bed stressing out as fuck. And most women I know that are stressed or in relationships, it's not worth it until you find somebody like you genuinely feel like you can make a go of things with. But yeah, a lot of men are very, very scared to be vulnerable, so don't even fall in love. And there are lots of men who lie and say they love you even when they don't. And I think that's really, really sad, but it's true.
How many men this woman has dated, but if everything she said is based on her experience, it's been quite a few. I have to admit she's partly right. A lot of men only focus on a woman's looks, and maybe later they start to care about the emotional side. A big number of them are just happy to have a pretty woman, even if she doesn't treat them with respect. There are also men who don't know how to be alone. Now, I don't agree with staying with someone just because they have kids or because they're kind. I believe love can be built, but I also think the definition of love today is completely off. It's seen as this wild, uncontrollable passion. To me, that's a mistake. Love can simply be the peace of a home where someone takes care of you. But what do you guys think?
I really need somebody to explain to me, why is it when you break up with somebody, divorce somebody, whatever, that is when everybody wants to come out of the woodworks and tell you about all the bad stuff that person was doing to you behind your back. I had to move my car. Anyway, what I was saying is, why didn't you tell that person sooner? Why do you wait until that person breaks up with their significant other and then you tell them? That makes no sense. How about, since you minded your business then, mind your business now? Because it doesn't make the situation better. Honestly, if it was me, I feel more stupid than anything. And it just really gets under my skin. If you knew something, tell them when it happened. And a lot of people say, well, they weren't going to do anything about it anyways. You didn't give them the option. Give the person the option to leave or not to leave. If they don't leave, that's none of your business. If they leave, that's none of your business. If you're going to mind your business then, mind your business now. Anyway, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Stop it. Get some help.
There are two clear truths. No one owes you anything, and getting involved in another man's relationship is digging your own grave. Experience taught me that. A friend once tried to open another guy's eyes by telling him his wife was cheating. The result? The husband, blinded by love, ran straight to his wife, and she flipped the whole script, accused my friend of trying to come on to her and destroy their relationship. The cheated on guy ended up defending the unfaithful woman and cutting off the friendship. You don't say anything to someone in love unless you have proof. Mind your own business. They won't believe you. Women will always have the upper hand when it comes to emotional manipulation, and you'll be made out to be the villain. If you don't have solid, recorded evidence, it's better to stay quiet. Otherwise, you end up losing a friend and gaining a problem that was never yours to begin with.
Okay, this is a crash out post. I'm currently crashing out. Sorry in advance. Women, do not get married and have kids unless you plan on and are capable of becoming a single mom. Because 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, I don't know, statistically high, that's probably what's going to happen to you. Now, I love being a mom. I really do. And in fact, I quite enjoy most of the time being a single mom. This shit is not fair. The world is not set up for single moms. You will struggle. I don't care what job you have. I don't care how much you get paid. Especially in this economy right now, okay? The world is not set up for single mothers. It will be fucking hard. It will test you in ways that you didn't know that you could even be tested. You will have to fight for those kids. Most likely, you will have to fight for those kids. You will have to wake up every morning and question, just real talk, if motherhood is really something that you want anymore, because these men make it so hard. They make it so hard to be a mom. They take away all of the tender moments of motherhood that you could have had, but you were stuck in survival mode. So you didn't even really get to enjoy it. You're just fucking surviving, trying to raise these kids, trying to do the best you can, and you get $250 a month. What the fuck? That is pennies. That is the gas money it is taking me to drop them off at their father's house and pick them back up. $250 a month. And my ex is a nurse. $250 a month. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't even know if I'm going to post this. These men will take everything from you. They will promise you so much. They will promise you so much. And it will feel great at first. It will feel peaceful at first. And for some fucking reason, when you have their child, they will abandon you. They will discard you. Even if they don't cheat, even if they don't do anything significant, they'll emotionally turn away from you to the point where you leave. I left. I can't be in that. It is not what we were promised. It is not what you think it is. I promise you. I promise you. And before you come on here and say, oh, well, my situation's not like that. Good for you, honey. You are in the 1% of women that are very lucky because the rest of us don't have that. And the rest of us become single moms.
The problem with these women is that, once they become mothers, they push their husbands to the background. They stop taking care of themselves, stop making an effort, stop tending to their man. Then, when the guy starts to disconnect, they expect him to step up. I'm not denying that being a mother is hard, but as a man, I've always been clear that, more than my kids, my responsibility is my woman. Kids grow up and leave, but women don't think about that. They believe that just by having the child, they've already done their part. What more do you want from me? They're always tired, or worse, they start putting conditions on intimacy. Then they're shocked when the man changes. How could he not? When all they want to do is sit on the couch watching TV or scrolling on their phone. Take care of your man, tend to your husband, and you'll see he won't leave you. In this case, you're the one who walked away and ended up becoming a single mother.
It sucks because all I wanted was to be a mom. I love being a mom, but the best parts of my motherhood were taken from me. And in fact, the first time I got pregnant, the man said he couldn't have kids and then fought me in court for 5 years. Fought me in court for 5 years to take away my son that he claimed in the beginning he wasn't even capable of producing because he didn't want to wrap it up at first. Yeah. Yep. I can't handle it. I can't handle this. I can't handle men anymore. Y'all are liars. You lie to women. You promise us a lot. We are objects to you. We are things that you put on your shelf. I am a human being, and my life is forever changed. My life is forever changed. I will never be the same. My youth was stolen from me. I had to put my boots on the ground and become a single mom at 21 years old. I didn't get to live. I didn't get to live. I didn't. My life is not what I wanted it to be. Not even close. But I love being a mom. I'm holding space for two things at one time. Just don't date men. We are at a point in society where we are waking up to the reality of the patriarchy, which is a very real thing that I didn't used to believe in, and I fucking do now. To what men are really like. I will never see the change in men that I need to see to feel safe enough to ever date again in my entire life. It will take too long. The change that we need to see in men will take too long. It's 100, 200 years from now. So that's my life. So just don't date men. Just don't. Just focus on yourself. And don't have kids with the wrong person. And I don't know how to tell you what man is the right man because I thought they both were. I thought they both were the right man, and they were not.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
The one who needs to take a hard look at herself is you, because you're a mother of 2 kids, and both baby daddies turned out bad. Could it be that you have terrible taste in men? That whole "they stole my life" narrative. Remember, you didn't get pregnant out of nowhere. You chose to have a child with him. So where's the accountability for your actions? It's not the patriarchy, and it's not all men. There are thousands of women with good husbands because they knew how to choose wisely. You went for attraction, for chemistry, for he's good in bed, and closed your eyes to everything else. Now you're blaming the system, when the truth is you made decisions without thinking about the consequences. And the most important part, you weren't left, you walked away. If you don't own your choices, you'll keep repeating the same story. Responsibility is kryptonite to women.
This is the hardest night of the year if you're a single parent. I've spent all month taking him to see Santa, making it festive, decorating the house, buying Christmas jumpers, doing all the school things, 1,000,001 things that they want you to do. And then just on the cusp of the day, I have to send him to his other parent, who usually has him on a Wednesday and usually has him at the weekend that would be this weekend. So has taken no extra time for the boy this Christmas whatsoever. Which, whatever, he can do what he fucking wants. But having to give my child away and not see him on Christmas morning, open his presents after Father Christmas has been, buying and wrapping a present for his fucking dad, who I despise, and sending him off with a, I love you baby, have the best time, see you Boxing Day, is literally, it kills me. And I've prepped myself for this moment as well, all fucking year, because I knew it wasn't my year to have him Christmas Day this year. And still it stings. And I've been invited to friends' houses and some family and stuff, but I don't want to. I don't want to go and hang around other people's families. I don't want to hang around other people's kids when I don't have my own. It's just horrible. You just feel like there's a little bit of a spare part. Like, I just wanted to come on here and be real that Christmas is fucking hard. Families aren't like they are on the Bisto advert, and especially a single parent. It's heartbreaking, man. I can't explain it any other way. Anyway, I hope you're having a good Christmas. I love you. Bye.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Crying in front of the camera to get sympathy doesn't change the facts. Before recording the video, you set up the camera, adjusted the angle, and got ready for the show. Those short shorts you're wearing to draw attention say more than your tears. If you're looking for empathy, do better. The real tragedy isn't your sadness, it's the child's. Going from house to house every weekend, celebrating 2 Christmases, 2 birthdays, living 2 split lives, all because you couldn't keep a stable home. Before getting upset about the situation, you should have thought about the consequences of your decisions. You're not the only one suffering. The one carrying the real weight is your child.
Women.
It's reality. My birthday was today, and yes, I just got done crying like crazy. But it's because I realized, like, as single moms, we really don't get a second, bro. We don't get a second to celebrate ourselves. We don't get a moment to be appreciated. We don't get nothing. Like, I didn't even want to do anything for my birthday today. I just didn't want to do anything for a day. Like, just relax, you know? I couldn't do that. I didn't get to eat what I wanted to eat. I think I just wanted one day where somebody, like, kind of catered to me for a second, you know? And it just hit me when it's time to get ready for bed. My son keeps whining about something. My daughter's not listening. I don't even want to argue and discipline them right now. Like, I think that's when the reality hit me. I had to come to the bathroom because it's like, We shouldn't have to live like this. All the sacrifices we do as single moms, all the stuff that we go through, all the struggles and sacrifice, like everything we do. And we are like literally the least appreciated. Nobody appreciates us. It's literally so sad. And I feel for any mom that's feeling like this, you know, because I always have a great, like, I'm always in a good mood. Like, I don't allow the single motherhood to really get to me. But tonight, I didn't ask for much, and that's what makes it even worse. I didn't set my expectation high because I knew I probably wasn't going to be able to do whatever I wanted to do. And I don't even know what I want to do anymore because I'm so busy doing for everybody else. And today was the one day where it's like, I just didn't want to feel like a single mom. I just wanted to relax for a day. I gotta go. But the show must go on.
I'll say it again, in case any woman is watching this. The most important decision in a woman's life should be choosing the right father for her children. I see these women. I've got hundreds of videos of single mothers, and anyone would think they all ended up with bad men. But the truth is, many choose to become single mothers by their own decision. A lot of them have good men who work, who care for them. But one day they wake up feeling empty, wanting more. Or because monogamous life starts to feel boring, they leave the marriage. And when that phase passes, they realize their world has flipped upside down, that the piece they thought was boring was actually the best thing that ever happened to them. Now they cry because their life is a mess, when they're the ones who chose the chaos. But then they blame the man, who simply adapted to the role they decided to give him. He moves on, remarries because he's a good man and things go well for him, while they end up miserable, hating him just because they don't want to admit they screwed up.
Hyper on marriage. I really don't. When I was married, I found it to be really underwhelming and overrated. I never at any point felt like I was doing something special or magical. If anything, I felt like I joined a cult. You know, because people would get really weird about me going off script in terms of being a wife and just getting married. For example, I didn't take my ex-husband's last name when I got married. And if you didn't know this, if you're a woman and you marry a dude and you don't take his last name, people get real freaking weird about it. They get really worked up about it. People would ask me all the time. They would be like, what would you do if you had kids? And my answer would not bring them comfort, because what I would essentially tell them is I'd be like, if we do have children, they're taking my last name because I birthed them. I'm not going to labor and bring a child into the world just to give it some fucking dude's last name. That is my child. It is not part of my self-concept to credit somebody else for my work. Sorry. And that one would really rouse some people up. People really did not like that one. And to me, it seemed like the most logical thing, to be honest with you. I don't understand why we give children their dad's last names. It seems kind of wacky to me. And listen, I don't want any women in my comments justifying why they took their husband's last names or why their kids have their husband's last names. I don't care. Like, I don't have any hatred towards you. I know people just do what they do, but what I'm just talking about is my experience of not doing what everybody else is doing and how people freak out on you like you're in a cult. You know what I mean? So it's just odd. It was a really weird time in my life. And I just kind of felt like I was always getting this subtle pressure from the world around me to give up my personhood once I became a wife. And I really didn't like that. And I couldn't quite articulate it when I was married, but I can see it very clearly now.
Fuck up, you crazy bitch whore!
They're miserable. These are women who were never meant to be wives. If from the very beginning you're complaining about your man, what do you think is going to happen to that marriage? But then they'll say their husband was the worst and they were the saints, that everything they went through was abuse, when in reality they were the perfect wives who didn't even want to take his last name. I guarantee you, if he dies, She'll be the first one lining up to claim the inheritance or demanding that her child get what he left behind. She wants nothing to do with his name when the man is a nobody, but if he comes from a well-known family, suddenly she's running to the courts to get those kids recognized. Women like that, brother, are not wife material. That's why they end up on the wall, and the wall doesn't forgive.
I'm a little heartbroken right now. So many times I'm constantly asked, why don't you have a boyfriend? Why are you single? Why don't you have any kids? Well, as good as that all sounds and everything, as much as I really want that, I can't even get anybody to date me. Like, nobody wants to give me a time to day and even get to know me. It breaks my heart.
Feminism doesn't come from strength, it comes from frustration. Most of these women aren't empowered, they're empty and lost. And it shows: tattoos, nose rings, colorful hair. It's a walking red flag. They say they want a relationship, but what they're really showing is a rejection of femininity. Even if you're a great woman, no man is going to approach you if you come across as part of the purple hair movement. Men run from that. If you want a man, dress feminine, take all that off, and I guarantee you'll look attractive to most of them.
How old are you?
26, 24, 25.
Do you find nice guys or bad boys more attractive?
Oh, bad boys for sure. Bad boys. Bad boys all the way.
So why not go for the nice guy?
They're not confident enough.
They're insecure.
They're insecure. Yes, ma'am.
Insecure in like what ways? Where the bad boy isn't?
Like, if we came out like this, they would be mad. They would get, like, scared. They would question it. Yeah.
What do you think a nice guy would say about how you're dressed?
Why are you going out like this? Yeah. Like, put a t-shirt on. Yeah. That we shouldn't.
But why would a man want his girl to flaunt it to the world?
He should feel grateful that he has a bad bitch. Yeah. She has a bad bitch. Hell yeah, show her off. Yeah.
So if you wanted to come out damn near in a bikini, it should be cool.
Why would we come out in a bikini? Not a bikini, but some sexy ass shit. Hey, if you date a bad bitch, you're gonna date a bad bitch. Period. Like, you know what you signed up for, you know? Yeah, bitch.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
She thinks a good guy is boring just because he doesn't let her disrespect him. Then she wonders why there are so many single mothers nowadays. The modern woman wants to live like she's single while being in a relationship, but a man who respects himself knows what he wants and has his boundaries. Women like this don't like when a man genuinely cares about them. They love the chads, guys who bring nothing to the table but seem confident because they don't care about anything. They don't mind if you go out dressed a certain way because they know they've got you, and someone else too. In the end, to them, you're just another one. And the ironic part is, that's what these women choose. Then they complain when they get pregnant and go looking for the good guy, asking him not to judge single mothers.
Guess who's already had a full minty bee before noon? This girl. No, but actually I just had a big cry, so I thought that now maybe we can talk about it and see if it's relatable or helpful for you guys, because that's what I do. So this might sound so silly, but like, I must be like starting my period soon because I just feel so overly emotional, but like, I feel like right now in my life, like I'm in my late 20s, and it's super awesome because like all my friends are getting to these amazing like milestones that happen in your 20s, 30s, whatever, having babies, getting engaged, like long-term relationships, and like I'm obviously single, which again I like post about on here. I love being a single girl. Like I feel like out of all my friends, like if it's gonna be anyone, it's gonna be me, and I embrace it. I love to like live life, travel, and I feel really like empowered and independent and do things on my own and like preach that to you guys, because as a woman I think it's awesome that we can do that. But then there's like these random times, and like right now I'm currently, you know, moving into this new apartment, which I'm so lucky to have, and furnishing it, doing it on a budget. So like I'm Facebook Marketplace shopping, and there's just like instances like this morning where I found a dresser that I really wanted. That sounds so stupid. And I just have like maybe 2 or 3 guy friends, if that. And the guy was like, it's heavy, like you're gonna need someone to help you. And I was like, okay. So I like ask, my 1 or 2 guy friends that I have to help me. And one of them basically like said no or couldn't. And then the other one, and it's not his fault, but like overslept and didn't show up. And yeah, it sounds silly, but the overall what message that all of it felt like this morning was just like helplessness. Like, my friends have these built-in people for them. Like, they don't have to ever worry about who they would ask when they need to pick up furniture or build something for them, or like just do those things and like show up. Like, they found that person. Like, they don't have to worry about it. And it's rare that I ask for help, but then when I do and then I can't get it, it feels so shitty, like so shitty, because I feel like I would do things for people that like wouldn't do the same for me. And again, like, it's not their responsibility, like they're not my person, they're not my boyfriend, like whatever, but just on a like whole level of like, I don't have that. And so it like really, it's hard. Don't think enough people like give credit to like single girls. Like, we're just always celebrating all these couples. It's what I do for a job. I literally am a wedding content creator. I'm constantly around love and couples, and my best friend Tyler just had a baby, like, and this is not me like boo-hoo me, but I just feel like not enough people like give credit as well to like the girls like trying to do this shit on their own and like having to do everything on their own and figure it all out by themselves. Like, it's not easy, it's not always fun, it's hard, and it feels like shitty. Anyways, cheers, good morning, happy Friday.
Stop it. Get some help.
So basically, the men in your life are only there to be useful to you. First of all, they're friends, and they'll give you the same thing you'd give them: friendship. They're not there to carry your stuff or play boyfriend. These so-called independent women are only independent until they need a man. That's when they suddenly remember they're women. The wall doesn't forgive. It shows up in different ways. Deep down, you feel jealous of your friends. You're happy for them, but you want what they have. That's why, brothers, I'm telling you, that whole narrative of I don't need a man and I'm happier single, not even they believe it. The wall doesn't forgive.
Women.
One of my takes that I get a lot of shit for is that you should not be having children unless you are prepared to be a single mother. And I know people might say, oh, that's really negative. I don't care that it's really negative. The numbers don't lie. 50% of marriages end in divorce. And those are just the marriages. Y'all are having fucking kids with people you aren't even married to. And then, I mean, how many fucking videos do we have to see of women crying in their car because they were sold a fucking lie? So unless you are prepared, physically, financially, emotionally, to support a kid by yourself, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. It's a fucking gamble.
Fuck up, you crazy bitch whore!
Misery loves company. What you're saying, I could say the same to a man. Don't get married, since women file for 80% of divorces. On top of that, around 20% of those divorces happen just because they're bored, leaving their partner when he's going through financial trouble. If we're taking it to the extreme, I'd also tell men not to get involved with women at all, because 6 out of 10 end up bankrupt. They think all single mothers are victims of bad men, when in reality, many of them left their husbands. A lot of them aren't great wives. Nowadays, women are more unfaithful than men. But of course, only men's flaws are talked about. No one mentions that single women get more government benefits than married ones, or that many have kids just to collect child support and profit from it. But hey, stay at the wall, just as you are. That seems to be your best option.
I think this is about to make no sense, but just bear with me. I definitely have said in the past I need a therapist. Have I tried to get one? Yes. I just haven't, but this is going to be my form of like getting rid of some anxiety that I'm feeling right now in the past few days. I'm starting to kind of feel like being single is going to be like my identity, and it's really kind of freaking me out because like that's not what I want for myself whatsoever. I mean, I would love to have a partner, like a loving partner who understands me and I understand him, and we just like do life together and we have the same views on like traveling or all these other things, like just how we like live life and be each other's best friends. You know, like doesn't many people want that, you know? But I'm just getting to the point where I'm like, am I protecting myself a little bit too much, like my space a little bit too much, and not like opening up? It's like, because I've worked on myself, I've done things for myself that I'm very proud of. I feel like I can be alone most of the time. I feel like I've tackled a few things like my exercise journey and like staying fit and feeling healthy and energized and all these other things. And I feel like in my relationships, I haven't prioritized myself. So I also think I associate being with someone, giving my all to them and not filling my own cup up, which I think at this point I've learned from it. So I don't think that I would do that in a relationship. Like I think I would still do the things that I enjoy doing, but I haven't in the past. So I'm a little freaked out, you know? Okay, this is like literally my thing. What am I doing? But I just need to talk. I need to get this out, and no one's listening. no one's reply. I just don't want to like. I'm sick of kind of telling my friends about this because they all say the same thing, and they're all so supportive, and they're all just like, it's gonna happen, and it's gonna like the right person will come when it's supposed to, like when he's supposed to, blah blah blah. Just totally fine, but it's just not curing my anxiety right now, you know. So I just feel like I just kind of had like a light bulb moment where I'm like, why are you so anxious about this? Like, usually you're like chill, you're okay. But I feel like it's because I'm thinking that it's like my identity is like a single person and then being the third, fifth wheel with all my friends. And while I like seemingly have no problem with that, I'm just feeling more pressure to not be like the one friend that's just like latching on and like, I don't know, you know, like when all your friends have like are in couples and they're getting engaged, they're getting married, like it's hard to be the 30-year-old single friend, you know, like everything's odd because the single person's, you know, attached in some way. So, this feels good. All right. It felt good.
The statistics don't lie. Women lead in antidepressant use and therapy visits, especially when they're single. Why? Because they feel time slipping away. The years of youth, beauty, fertility, and family building go by fast. Their bodies remind them they want to be wives and mothers, but the feminist narrative convinced them they could live as if the biological clock didn't exist. Feminism didn't just ruin dating, it ruined expectations. Women now believe they deserve a man from the top 10% and look down on average men. Meanwhile, those same average men they rejected are the ones building stable families, while they accumulate years, anxiety, and loneliness. A silent epidemic is coming. By 2030, nearly half of women will be alone. The wall is no longer a warning. It's a sentence, because the wall doesn't forgive. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Why didn't those men want to help that woman? Why are more and more women complaining about being single? What do you think is the main reason? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.